Oh, hi there, everyone. It's Linda here from Just For Tummies. I can't believe it's Friday already. Where has this week gone? Um, I've jumped on here today because I want to briefly explain to you something about food intolerances and the fact that food does not cause food intolerances. I know that's a generalized statement, and I'll explain what I mean. So last Sunday, Kevin, my husband, and we went to a spirit and wellbeing show close to where we live in Nottingham. And we had a stand there, and we had all of our Just for Tummies supplements there. And we were mobbed, basically. We were absolutely mobbed. It's been about 4 years since we've attended any kind of spirit, wellbeing, natural health show or exhibition. And it was great to get out into the community, to be honest with you, and to actually speak face to face with people. Um, so we were very busy at the stand. I think people walk past our stand and then they kind of stop and they reverse. They do a double take and reverse because they're not quite sure what our products are all about, because our supplements look very different to any other digestive and gut supplements that you may see on the market. We designed our supplements this particular way to look friendly, approachable, female. I didn't want my supplements to look masculine and pharmaceutical in terms of their design. So they're very pretty, as I'm sure if you take a look, you will agree. But anyway, going back to what I want to talk about. So we were so busy. At times, our stand was 4, 5 people deep, with women, mainly women, wanting to talk to us about all manner of digestive and gut health problems that they were experiencing, and that they were not getting help from primary and secondary care, the NHS. So what came up time and time again, and I get as you can imagine, being a naturopath and the brand founder of a range of digestive, gut, bladder, and vaginal health supplements. There's not a day goes by when I don't get lots of enquiries from women who suffer with common symptoms of IBS, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, acid reflux, diverticular disease, to name just a few. But also from women who suffer with food intolerances. So they develop intolerances to certain foods. They find that when they eat these foods, they blow up with gas. It's painful, it's crampy. They have to dash to the loo to have a bowel movement, or they get constipated, they go the other way, they get acid reflux as well, and they just don't understand what's going on. How come several weeks or months ago they were able to eat that food, and now every time they eat it, they get a reaction? Well, it's not the food that's causing the problem. It is the environment, the terrain where that food is being broken down and digested and nutrients absorbed. So what you have to remember for the digestive system to properly break down and digest food and absorb nutrients, there needs to be saliva released into your mouth, and with that saliva, enzymes, in particular amylase. There needs to be sufficient amounts of stomach acid produced in your stomach. There needs to be pancreatic enzymes. There needs to be bile released from your gallbladder. And there needs to be trillions and trillions of friendly gut bacteria in your gut to properly digest your food and to properly absorb nutrients. Now, if for whatever reason that chain, that chain of digestive procedure events is compromised in any way, then yes, you do run the risk of developing a food intolerance. So let's take antibiotics, for example. As we know, antibiotics decimate the levels, broad spectrum antibiotics decimate the levels of friendly gut bacteria in your intestines. They kill off billions and billions. So if they're killing off, let's say, the bacteria that helps your digestive system properly digest gluten or dairy, then what do you think is going to happen? When you eat bread, cakes, biscuits, anything that contains gluten and dairy, there's not going to be enough bacteria in your gut to properly digest it. So it gets irritated, it maybe gets inflamed, lots of gases are produced. These gases cause expansion, stretching of your intestines, and that, of course, causes uncomfortable bloating. But then lots of people are also taking strong antacids like proton pump inhibitors that just switch off the production of stomach acid. So if you've not got stomach acid that helps to properly digest your proteins in particular, and that also helps to kill any pathogens trying to get into your gut, like parasites, bad bacteria, viruses, if that stomach acid is not there doing its job of protecting you from any pathogen, then again, this can also cause food intolerances, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, acid reflux. So I'm in the middle of writing a blog all about how food doesn't cause food intolerances, and we're going to be publishing that on the Just for Tummies website next month, and we'll also be sending it out in an email. So if you don't get our emails, our newsletters, then I will put a link above this video that you can just click on and sign up. We send newsletters about once, twice a week, and they are always content rich and full of relevant information if you suffer with a digestive gut, bladder like UTIs, or a vaginal issue like thrush. So content rich, good quality newsletters. So yeah, click on the link and you can just fill in the brief form, and we will send you those. Let's have a look at some of the comments I'm getting. Right, just fantastic. Right, I'll just bring it up on the screen. I think this is someone from Tummy Talk. That's my community group that I would love to spend more time in, but it's just impossible for me to do so at the moment. So whoever you are, Facebook user in Tummy Talk, thank you for your comment. Just fantastic as always, Linda Booth. All those steps through the digestive system are crucial and easily thrown out of balance, but with your products and knowledge, you can reset that gut. Yes, I love that. I love that phrase, reset the gut, and you absolutely can. I've met women, and there was a young girl, case in point, on Sunday when Kevin and I were at the Spirit and Wellbeing show. Young girl, she was only 21, and she had developed food intolerances at 21. And when I started to dig in a little bit deeper about her history, and the first question I ask anyone who has a stomach or gut problem is, what is your antibiotic history? And I want to know it right back to when you were born. Obviously you wouldn't remember that, but ask your parent, or even when you were in utero, when your mum was still carrying you in the womb. Did your mum have to have antibiotics when she was pregnant with you? Did she have a normal pregnancy, labor, delivery? Were there any complications whereby you as a baby, a newborn baby, or your mum had to take antibiotics? Certainly if she was breastfeeding and your mum had to have antibiotics, you have to remember that those antibiotics will be passed through to the baby in the breast milk. And the same if you're in utero and your mum had to take antibiotics, they can pass through the umbilical cord, the placenta, and get into the developing baby's gut. So you can see where problems with the digestive system, with the stomach and gut, can start at a very, very early age. And the earlier you are exposed to antibiotics, the more likely, according to research, is it that you will develop a digestive or gut problem, certainly in terms of irritable bowel syndrome and inflammatory bowel disease like Crohn's and colitis. So going back to this young lady, this 21-year-old, who's developed food intolerances. Every time she eats certain things, she just blows up like a balloon. It's very uncomfortable. And for a 21-year-old, you don't want to, look as though you're pregnant, especially if you're not. So it transpires that as a youngster, a young girl, she was plagued with ear infections. So she had lots of antibiotics for ear infections. And this is where it can begin. I can't remember now if she had to have any other antibiotics since then. I seem to think she did. I seem to think that she also had a couple of urinary tract infections, like cystitis, where she was also prescribed antibiotics. So this is the link, you see. The antibiotics that she had as a little girl, and then when she was a little bit older with the UTIs, just decimated billions of the bacteria um, in her intestines, putting her at greater risk of developing food intolerances. And not just that, you have to remember that antibiotics, although they're in capsule form and they're supposed to pass through the stomach and get into the gut fairly quickly, they can also remain in the stomach and damage the lining of the stomach and cause gastritis and acid reflux as well. So anyway, I didn't want to talk as long as I have. I hope that helps you. I just wanted to say that, food does not cause food intolerances. And allergies are different, of course. That's a completely different matter. Allergies are an autoimmune response, as are intolerance as well. But allergies are completely different to food intolerances. So sign up to get our newsletters. Like I say, I'll put the link above this video. And if you've got any queries about your stomach, about your gut, about your bladder, your vagina, then you know where we are. There's lots of ways you can contact us via email and social media. So lovely speaking to you. Have a great Friday night and have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.